Hi, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy
Happy
Sunday.
Sunday. So I hope everybody survived the snow, depending on where you lived. I know we got pounded for a day there for about 14 inches of snow.
Well, we got 10 the first time and then a few more the next time. So it's piling up out there.
Yep. And last night's little snowstorm, it melted already on the
Yeah.
driveway. So hope you guys are surviving the temperatures. The temperature's starting to drop too.
Yeah, we're only 17 right now.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all. We're just 17. Well, I'm just glad to see everyone back in chat. I'm going to go through it real quick. I see Sandra. See Green Eyed Crow. I see Robin, Lady of the Lake. Let's see. We've got Mr. In Between. We have a husband supporting his wife. That is so sweet.
Yeah.
And Polly was in here earlier. And we got Brandon. Welcome in, Brandon. 76 in California.
Wow.
Oh, that's not nice, Robin.
No, but that's probably chilly. That's probably chilly for them, though.
Yeah, I am hearing from California people. There's it's cold here, and I'm going, that's not cold. I would love to have that temperature.
All I know is if when we get above 30, we're going to have to do some tracking through the snow and see if we can't find any footprints out there that's not supposed to be.
Yes.
See what's going on out there while we're not paying attention.
So I'm glad to see everyone back in chat. We've got a new guest, and I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy her. And this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, so if you've seen our thumbnail, it's Carol Ann from the InBetween. I found her on YouTube and TikTok and everywhere, any social you could probably find her on. She has a great podcast and she talks about all the same subjects we do. That's what's so fun. It's amazing. So I can't wait to talk to her. We'll bring her up and we'll get going.
Sounds good.
Hi, Carol.
Yeah,
Hello.
welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Like I said, I found you on TikTok and I thought I'd just reach out. And I was actually surprised because actually your channel is quite a bit bigger than ours. You got a lot more followers than we do, but that's nice.
It's nice. We're doing okay. Not as big as we want to be quite yet, but we're getting there.
So what got you to start a TikTok or a YouTube?
My husband and I are both at heart entrepreneurs. And we've done, we're in our 50s. So we've done the corporate thing. It's like, okay, that's great, but we'd rather work for ourselves than for somebody else. And YouTube always seemed like a good avenue to do that. So probably 7 or 8 years ago already, let's see, about 8 years ago, I think we started, or actually longer than that, because he started a channel first. We've had a few channels. Long story short, we've had a few channels. Some did better than others, but we're continually learning along the way how to do this YouTube thing. And then I was watching and was a huge fan of Mr. Ballin. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Ballin's channel. Another, just like my channel, basically tells stories of the strange and mysterious. And I was a huge fan, and I thought, and it's a passion of mine. Maybe not a passion, but always a high interest. Ever since I was a kid, I was reading the Bigfoot stories and the ghost stories and Bermuda Triangle and all that kind of weird stuff. And so I'm like, I would love to do that kind of a channel. So we decided, all right, let's give it a shot. And it's going gangbusters compared to our other attempts. So I think we finally learned enough things along the way to kind of do it right. And so far, so good.
Yeah, it seems like you're doing really good. Like I was telling you earlier that every time I turn on TikTok or whatever, it's like you pop up. It's like, so the algorithm's being good to you on my end anyway.
That is good to hear. I appreciate that.
Well, I
So
think a
we're,
lot of people are waking up now and they're having an open mind, so they're interested in all of these that they just thought it was fiction when they grew up, and they're realizing, oh my, this could be real.
Yeah, that is one advantage that we have of living today rather than 30 years ago, is that
Mm-hmm.
everybody's got a camera and there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more footage of different strange things all the time, So it's getting harder and harder to ignore that there are strange things in this world.
Right.
yeah, I think it's nice that everybody's getting a chance to get out there and tell their stories, where most times you won't ever get a chance to hear their stories, whether they come on our channel or somebody else's channel, or just start their own, like we all did, just to start our own because of the interest we have. And it's like, okay, we're not alone. There's other people out there.
Yep. Absolutely 100%. Yeah. Because now if you have an experience, you can put it up on TikTok or X or whatever format that you want to put it on, whatever platform, and get it out to thousands or millions of people
Mm-hmm.
in a heartbeat, where that was not the case, I don't know, 30 years ago, whatever, Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally a game changer.
Well, there was still a stigma to it when people didn't want to tell their stories because people would say they're crazy, or whatever the normal excuse is to shut
Mm-hmm.
somebody down or shun them. But
Yeah.
now it's just like Jane was saying, I think everybody's starting to open up and start digging and going down the rabbit holes. And I think that was the one thing that happened during the pandemic, is like everybody had all this time, and everybody had the internet, and it's like you started finding channels and stories, and you get to share your stories. It's like, man, it just started a whole new thing. It was awesome.
Yeah. That is absolutely true. Yeah. There's a lot of people who discovered things in their world that would never have had the time to do that before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Yep.
now all kinds of YouTubes opened up these last few years with a chat, and then you get to know everyone in chat, and then you hear other people with the same experience as you, and you go, whoa, I'm not the
Yeah.
only one. So then you start
Yeah.
feeling comfortable to share what happened with you.
Yep. Absolutely. And sadly, I still get a lot of emails from people who are like, I don't use my name. You can use
Right.
my story,
Yes.
but don't use my
Mhm.
name,
Mhm.
So there's that stigma is still out there, but you're right. I think it's getting a little less powerful than it used to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So we're going to be talking about time slips to start off with anyway. And you just released a video today about time slips. So I've seen you have other videos on time slips or glitches in the matrix kind of deal. So do you have a favorite story?
I think my favorite is probably one that I just did today. And that is the one about the hotel that the family goes to. So it's a family, it's 3 women from the same family, daughter, mother, and grandmother. They're on vacation, car traveling their way through the British Isles, and they're in Wales, and they meant to get a hotel in Cardiff and then drive to the other side of, drive to the northern portion of Wales and hop a ferry to Ireland the next day. But when they get to Cardiff, there's no open hotels for them. So they're like, okay. And they're like, okay, we'll just keep driving north where we're supposed to go anyway. I'm sure we'll find something. And they find this tourist information center that's pretty much a shack. Who says, oh yeah, I know a place you can stay. And he gives them directions. And they follow the directions, and it's like the world is kind of they don't see it at the time, but the world is kind of getting older the closer that they get to this hotel that they've been given directions to. And they get to this hotel, and it's really run down. It's kind of creepy. The daughter's like, I don't want to stay here, but they do anyway. And as the longer that they're there, it's like everybody's got the old clothes, and the longer they're there, those clothes get better, like they're newer, and they so their stay is fine. They do okay. No electricity, no working plumbing, but they made it. They're only there overnight. No big deal. And they leave the next day, and the daughter says, "Oh, I forgot my book." So as much as she didn't really want to go back, she wants her book even more. So they retrace their steps to go back, and they get back there, and the hotel that they just left like 2 hours ago is now a pile of rubble. And the mom and the grandmother are arguing over how they had to have taken a wrong turn. How did they take a wrong turn? The little girl in the back looks out the window, and she sees this garden area that her room had overlooked the night before, where she saw this memorial stone. So when she looks out the car window the next day, she sees that same memorial stone. So she knows that is the same house. That pile of rubble that was a hotel 2 hours ago now looks like it had nobody's touched it for 100 years. So I love that one, because it's like, usually time slip stories are like instantaneous. It's like all of a sudden you step through a portal and everything is different. I love this one because it's not that. It's this slow burn. The guy at the tourist information center seemed old, and then they stopped to get directions along the way, and that guy he was dressed even older, and it's just like this slow burn back in time. And I think that's what I love about it. It's just different,
Yeah, I've heard other versions of that. I don't know if it's all based off the same story or not, but the one I heard was like a couple's going on a honeymoon, and they're out on a vacation, a honeymoon sightseeing, and they go down this old road, and there's this nice old hotel there, and they spend the night, and they notice the same thing. Like, people are dressed like in, maybe 40s, 50s, nothing seems quite right. And the price to check in, for a room was like, man, how do you survive on these prices? And the people behind the counter are looking at them like, well, these are the normal prices. They don't know anything different,
Right.
They eat at the restaurant at the hotel, and the food is just fabulous, and they pay pennies on the dollar compared to where you'd go anywhere today. And it's the same thing once they leave in the morning, and they thought, well, we'll go back to the hotel and stay, on our way back home, after we've had our honeymoon, and they can't find it. And then they look, and then somebody says, oh, that burned down 40 years ago or whatever. But there's all kinds of stories like that just pop up.
That's actually a different story. That's a couple who, you have the story 100% correct, but that was a couple that was in France. This one was in Wales. So it's the same idea. It's the same experience, but it is two different stories.
Okay. I didn't know if that was one that was off, they kind of fed off each other or.
Right. Nope. Two different stories.
Wow. Awesome.
Just that much more proof, if you will.
Well,
it's
that got me thinking, is there more time slip stories in other countries?
There are some, and I'm sure that there's a lot that I have not looked at. I've mostly looked at the UK and the US. US, obviously, because I'm here. UK, because there's so many that come out of the UK.
Wow.
But there is the one from France. Actually, there's a couple from France, because there's that one. And then there's also the two women, I want to say 1900s.
Yeah, 1901.
Who go to Versailles.
Yep.
That one was in
great
France.
story. I wanted to talk about that one tonight.
Yep, that is a great story. Yeah, because they worked really hard after the experience to prove the experience. Which doesn't usually happen. People are just like, this thing happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell, either they tell people or they don't, depending, but that's the end of it,
And they wrote the book, The Adventure, to tell the story and all that. And it's fabulous. So is that something you'd like to tell us, to go from the beginning of it? Do you know it well enough? I'm sure.
I know the bones of it for sure. You probably have a better idea of the details, but it was wasn't it a female professor and her assistant
Yes.
just from Great Britain decide to travel to Versailles just to, I think it was a get to know, wasn't the assistant new, and it was kind of a get to know you.
Yeah, they were kind of feeling each other out, trying to
Yeah.
get a repertoire together. And so they went on that little excursion together.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which kind of seems weird.
Does.
You know, we don't usually vacation with people that we don't know, but you know, it's a long time ago. So, okay. So yeah, they go to Versailles for the day and they get there in the morning, and theirs was kind of instant, wasn't it? They decided to go out to a garden area that was a little further away, so there would be a little less, fewer people around, so they could enjoy it a little bit more. And as they're walking there, they feel the air change around them. It's more of an instantaneous kind of a thing. And I know they saw a guard to one of the, not a house, one of the buildings in a tricorn hat. And I know they saw a woman sketching on the lawn that conveniently or mysteriously, however you want to think about it, looked just like Marie Antoinette, which would have put them, 100 years back in time. And they came back out of it. I remember that they came back out of it, and then they went back to their hotel, and they're like, did that just really happen to us?
Trying to piece it together for talking to each other. Because it's like the normal experience where you don't really want to say nothing, but you're kind of wondering, okay, did you see what I saw? But you don't really talk about it till later.
Just in case you're the one who's crazy, not them. Yeah.
So supposedly when they saw Marie Antoinette or whoever was sketching or drawing in the garden, they said she looked just like the paintings, and the dress was just so amazing that they knew, okay, this is something definitely out of place. What is going on?
Yeah.
And then before they could even think about, trying to figure it out, the guy supposedly runs up to him and says, hey, you need to get out of here and go this way. And he leads them to the little bridge, and they go over the bridge, then everything starts coming back to normal. But they thought that they remembered what the guy looked like, and it's associated with Marie Antoinette, like it's in the console or something. So his painting, along with Marie Antoinette, verifies their story.
Wow. I hadn't heard that part. Wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's amazing. It's a great story. Yeah. I mean, just for the fact that then they went home and then did research as to what kind of dresses did Marie Antoinette have made. And, going through all of the details, going back to the maps of the grounds, how the grounds were laid out back when Marie Antoinette lived there, and going back and finding all of those details. That's what I think is fascinating about that case. Yeah,
because they talked about the bridge, and the curators and the people now say, well, there's never been a bridge. There's no bridge in the gardens. And then they found an old map or a drawing that showed the bridge was there.
Now, are the people in these time slips, are they seeing them?
Absolutely.
And noticing that they are dressed differently? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Like the one of the stories from today's video is where a guy thinks somebody's broken into his stables and goes into there to confront whoever it is, and walks into this Roman soldier orgy celebration going on in when he was a moment ago his stables. And the end of that story, I mean, so he can see everybody, but nobody can see him. But at the end of that story, he looks at a soldier who's looking right at him, right in the eye. So he knows that guy can see me. That guy freaks out. So it's like, okay, he saw me. So what did that guy see? It had to look like a ghost to him.
Right.
And obviously the question is it possible that that's what ghosts are? Are they somebody who's just out of time, out of step with their own timeline?
I've thought that.
Right.
Very intriguing possibility.
Because me and Jane talk about it all the time, like, okay, and so this is a multiverse, many dimensions. So me in another lifetime or somebody else's, another era is going on exactly the same time, just with us. And then once in a while, they just kind of go in and blend and come back out and blend.
I can't tell you how many dreams I actually have that is similar to what me and Carol are living now, but in the dream, it's slightly different. And I wake up and I'm going, I know we didn't have that for supper, or I know that cat water bowl did not quite look like that, but it was in the same spot as where our water bowl is now. It's like the parallel worlds are blending in my dreams at times.
Or we're together, but a completely different house that we've never lived in.
Sure. Yep. I don't know. Wow. I don't know what to think of the whole multiverse thing. I think I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I get it, on a surface level.
One of me is
how it would work. Yeah. I mean, how it would work and what the implications are. I can't even wrap my head around that.
Right.
One of my favorite stories that I've heard is where a father and son are going to a baseball game. So they're traveling down the interstate and they see a little billboard. It says, food or whatever, and it looks old, granted. So they thought, dad says, if we got time, let's just go ahead and check it out. So they take the exit and they end up on this old dirt road. And there's a little restaurant, old time looking gas station there. They thought, man, is this it? Is this what we're looking at? Right. So they park the car and they go in, and the attendant's there, and he's dressed in his nice white uniform like you would expect to see in the 50s or 40s, whatever, and they go into the restaurant and everybody's staring at them. So obviously they're out of place. They look different than everybody else that's in this little diner grease spoon or whatever you want to call it.
Grease spoon.
Yeah. So they sit down, they eat, they order, and then once again they notice, man, the prices are awful cheap and the food's amazing, and they go on their way after they pay and they go to their ball game. They have a great time, father and son. And the same thing, they decide to stop back on their way home from the ball game, and guess what? It's not there. They can't find it. They're pretty sure they found the same exact road, but they cannot find that little restaurant gas station.
Crazy. There's something about gas stations too. There's a lot of stories that take place at gas stations. I don't know why that is, but there's a lot of them. But going back to our whole ghost theory thing, I don't know if you heard about the Valdosta, Georgia gas station story.
No.
That one is amazing. And it happened not real long ago. And I'm pulling this out of my head, but I'm talking to like 2000. So not real long ago. Oh no, I take that back. The later part of the story is more like probably 2010. And it's a woman who, her and her siblings live north in Georgia. So they're passing Valdosta, which is southern Georgia, on their way to Florida for, I think it was her dad had passed away. Or no, an uncle had passed away. So they're all going down for the funeral. So on the way back, they were late. They're like, okay, no stops unless somebody really has to go to the bathroom. And of course, somebody really has to go to the bathroom. So she's driving. She takes the first exit that she thinks has a gas station at it and goes down the road like 5 miles. And sure enough, there's a gas station. So they go into the gas station, and the guy behind the counter, it looks rough. And he's just kind of staring into space. And they're like, okay, this is a little weird, and everything in there is dusty and it's old and like stuff that's like 5 years beyond its expiration date. All the candy bars are old, everything. They're like, okay, so we're just going to go to the bathroom and then we're just going to get out of here. And that's what they do. So they get in their car to go, and they're driving back to the freeway, but the freeway never shows up, and instead they find that they have circled back to the gas station.
Oh.
And now the guy that was inside is now looking at them through the window. And they're like, oh, now we're really creeped out. So they're like, punch it, let's get out of here. And they do the same thing. And they come back to that same gas station again. But this time it's been boarded up for like 20 years. I mean, it's like, obviously nothing has been here for a long time.
Wow.
But that's only half the story. So the woman who had this experience went on, I believe it was TikTok, and the channel was Ashley Inc. Yeah, Ashley Inc. was the name of the channel, who had her tell her story. Great, just like you guys do. A couple of days later, not too much longer after that, Ashley Inc. got an email from a guy who says, I heard that story about the gas station in Valdosta, and I think that was my dad.
Oh.
His part of the story takes place back in, like, I don't know, the 80s, mid 80s or something. His mom and his dad had a really rough time. His dad was a drinker, was not good. His mom finally said, quit the booze or get out. He decided to quit the booze. Okay, good choice, So, and he works at this gas station, and he works nights. And one night his dad comes home like he had seen a ghost. And that's basically what he tells them. I think I saw ghosts. And tells them what he saw, that these people came into the store, but they weren't regular people. They were dressed funny. Their car was funny. They weren't quite there. I don't know. I think they were ghosts. And his wife thinks that he started drinking again and says, get out. So he does. He doesn't say, I didn't, well, of course he says I wasn't drinking, but he didn't recant his story. He said, fine, don't believe me. And he moved out. And the son didn't have a relationship with his dad for like 20 years because he thought his dad had broken his promise to not drink. When he finally, as we get wiser, as we get older, decided to rekindle that relationship with his father, he said, Dad, why did you decide to drink that night? And his dad said, I didn't. I never drank. Never, and I haven't since then. I never broke that promise. What I told you that night is what happened to me. So the guy the son who had written this email sent a picture of his dad. Ashley Inc. showed the email and the picture of his dad to the guest that she had on, who told the second part of the story. And the guest said she can't be 100% sure because the picture was taken years after the year that supposedly, she saw a younger version of what was in the picture. So she said she can't be 100% sure, but she's like 95% sure that was the same guy.
Oh my gosh.
So two timelines interacting with each other, and then to come back and link it all together 20 years later, that is just crazy. Crazy.
Right. That reminds me of the old Farm Boys. I don't know if you've ever heard this one, but some two farmers, dad and son, farming, getting done, come in for lunch. They come into the back door through the kitchen, then you can go into the parlor or the main dining room or whatever.
Right.
And they're doing their thing in the kitchen, and they look through the door going into the other room, and there's an old lady knitting in a rocker, just going back and forth. And she looks up, and she looks like she's seen a ghost. They look at her like they've seen a ghost because she doesn't not supposed to be there, and they run back out the door. And when they come back in the next time to investigate a little bit closer, like, hey, what just happened? That kind of deal. The rocker and the old lady's gone. And then to find out that when they were talking to their parents, that they said, I remember hearing a story from the family that a long time ago that a great grandma, whatever, said she was in a rocker sitting there, and two young guys come through the kitchen So she saw the same thing and told the story to her family, and then now they experienced it in their timeline and put the two together.
Wow.
Amazing. Amazing.
I mean, I just can't. I mean, it's like one of those things you're talking about. How do you wrap your head around that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She saw them in her timeline way back then. And then they experienced her in their timeline now. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
So I think we definitely need to, I mean, I think there are two different things happening that, you know, like the story that you just told, that they're not really ghosts, even though the person who is experiencing it says it was a ghost. I think there are now two different, I think that ghosts actually exist, but this is not that. You know, I think we need to, when we hear ghost stories in the future, we need to like be cognizant. Is it really a ghost, or is it a time slip that just appears to somebody as a ghost? Because I think they are two different phenomena that appear to be, on the surface anyway, the same thing. Because
they wouldn't exist in her timeline because they haven't been born yet. The family generation hasn't went on yet. So it has to be two things meeting together and combining somehow. That's
now, how that happens, I have no idea. I mean, talk about not being able to wrap your head around it. The whole unified theory and the multiverse, and you know, the theory of relativity and wormholes. And I am a pretty smart woman, and I don't get it. I just cannot wrap my head around all of that.
Yeah, I mean, just like you and me and Jane, you know, we just love those stories, but no way can I explain any of it. But do I think it happened? Absolutely. I think these people are telling the truth. I think this is what they experienced. How they experienced it, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know how electricity works, but yet I go over there and flip that switch because I know it's going to go on and off, but I don't know anything beyond that.
Yep, 100%.
It makes you wonder how many people go into these time slips and accidentally stay there and they can't get out.
It's a very good
Twilight
question.
Zone episodes.
Very good. I think that actually does happen. I mean, we've done a number of episodes that are, you know, the 411 missing phenomenon.
Right.
You know, and there are some, it's like, well, okay, they most likely just got lost and fell down between some rocks so nobody can see them or whatever. And obviously there's problems with that. Why didn't the dogs find them or whatever?
Right.
But still in your head, you're like, okay, but still, that's still probably what happened. But then there's stories like, are you familiar with the story of Tom Messick in, is it Pennsylvania or New York?
The firefighter?
No.
I
don't know that I know the firefighter story.
Oh.
No, Tom Messick he was like, I don't know, 80. Oh. So he was an older guy. He was not moving very well anymore. And he was out hunting with some of his older friends and his son and a couple of young, you know, so there's some older guys and some younger guys in the group. And they were, I forget the term for it, when you've got the people who stay stationary and then you've got the other guys who circle around and push the deer toward them.
Right.
I forget what that's called, but so the old guys were the stationary guys and the young guys are the ones that they made go out and walk and run the deer toward them. And all of a sudden, Tom, who was like the one furthest in the line away from like the cars and things like that, he didn't join up with everybody, you know, because I said, hey, well, I'll meet back here in 2 hours if nothing happens. And so that everybody met back there, but everybody but Tom's gone. So they went to where he was sitting to look for him. And not only is he gone, but his gun is gone and his backpack is gone. And there's no trace. And to this day, there's never been any trace. And it's like, well, okay, wild animal attack. Well, okay, what happened to his gun and his backpack? And so that, to me, is one that it's like, that is making me believe in the portal theory, you know? So he would be one of those people who went in and couldn't get back out. You know, what is the one that you're talking about with the firefighter?
Well, it seemed like it's the same name. I wish I could remember the name. We did a show on it, missing people, and he was one of them. Where he's a firefighter in New York, went upstate to go skiing. He's out there. He's in his ski clothes, and he's with a group of people. And then all of a sudden, he's gone. It's almost like he got swallowed up by the snow or whatever, because it's one of those things where they're talking to each other and they turn their backs or we're busy doing something. And the next time they look over, like the person's gone.
Really?
And they did a search party, just like what you're talking about. Naturally, they do a search party trying to find out. And they had all the rescue people there, no trace of him, like he was never there. Come to find out, like 6 hours later, somebody recognizes the national news, because it's all over the news, about this firefighter that got lost or missing, gets spotted in California, all the way across the country. Still has his ski suit, his stuff on, and he's wandering around like he's dazed and confused. Couldn't remember how he got there, what was going on. 6 hours later, from upper state New York, that area, all the way to California.
Whoa.
Wow. That's amazing. Huh.
Still, I don't think he's ever got any memory back of it.
Wow.
I mean, especially in an instance like that, it has to be a portal. It has to be. You know, there's no other way to travel that. Well, I take that back. You can get from one side of the country in 6 hours. I mean, it's a 4-hour flight, maybe 5-hour flight.
Yeah,
but that's like point to point, you know, that doesn't include getting to the airport and
noticing, you know, and you had to.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre.
Wow. I know there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but the more I hear about it, the more I'm starting to believe in portals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then was it Crater Lake? A lot of disappearances around national parks and all that. And then the one I like, well, I don't like it, but it's an interesting story where the family and friends are all hiking around Crater Lake, and the one guy takes the bend around where there's trees and stuff and you can't see him. And then by the time the rest of their friends turn the corner, he's gone. And then, you know, the same thing, you know, they're looking for him, trying to figure out what's going on. You know, did he fall off the side? Is he hurt? You know, whatever. Then a few hours later, he comes back. He's just like he pops up, and he tells a story of when he turned a bend, there was 2 tall, white, Nordic-looking, bright blue-eyed beings there, or people, but nobody else saw them. He didn't see the other people come around the corner. He just knew he was with those 2. And then all of a sudden later, he comes back, and the Nordics are gone, and he's back with his people.
Wow.
How long was he missing?
I don't really know the details of that. I mean, I think it was like a couple hours.
Wow.
At least to them, they thought he was gone for a couple hours.
Okay. Wow. I've not heard that one before.
So evidently, whoever these Nordics or these tall whites with the bright blue eyes evidently could either shield him, or they abducted him, or transported him. But according to him, he was still there at Crater Lake, just around the bend, talking to these people.
And he was just talking. So to him, he was just talking to these people.
I guess. I mean, he didn't. I don't remember the story, if he ever really got into detail, or wherever the story I heard it from, if they ever said what they were talking about, or if he remembers what he talked about. But he just knew he ran into these 2 Nordic beings. And
he chatted for a while, and then says, "I'll see ya." And everybody says, "Where the hell have you been?"
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on at Crater Lake.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I have not dug into Crater Lake just yet, but I know there's a bunch of stuff up there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. There's so many things that I haven't dug into. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, you think what, or at least I thought when I started the channel that, eventually I'm going to run out of material. And what am I going to do then?
Mhm.
And how naive I was. How naive to think that I would ever run out of material.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's just no way. I'm, now that I'm getting into it and learning more and not only just hearing more stories, but more facets of the strange and mysterious. I don't want to call it paranormal, but the strange and mysterious. There's
Right.
so many facets, so many things going on that now I know I'm never going to run out of.
No, there's this so many experiences. I mean, even if you talk about like what we're talking about, time slips. Okay, you could do a show on time slips and just talk about that, but you'll never have enough time to talk about all the experiences that everybody talks about. The same thing with aliens and UFOs. You'll never have enough time to talk about all the. You could hit the big ones, the abductions and the UFO spot, Phoenix lights, and all that stuff, but there's just so many other stories out there that it'll never be a dry well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And there are new things happening all the time. It's just like, okay, not only am I not going to ever run out of the stories I already know about, but now there's new things being introduced. So it's like, yeah.
Just like the Bold Street in Liverpool, we were talking about earlier. You did it on your show today, your video. I mean, that incident, one of them was 2006.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's still going on to this day. There's probably going to be more future stories coming out of Bold Street.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I have actually a lot of emails from in-betweeners, people in my audience that have given me their own time slip stories. So it's happening some are older, but some are not. Some are in the 2000s. Relatively recent. So it's still happening. Absolutely.
Well, I'm still thinking some of these either cryptids or something are higher dimensional beings. And if they grab you and pull you in, you got into their dimension. So your friends are coming around the corner. They don't hear you scream. They don't see you at all because whatever was there pulled you into a different dimension. You can't hear the missing child screaming or anything.
That certainly is a possibility. Yeah. But again, once you start getting into the interdimensional part of it, I can't wrap my head around it.
I know.
I don't get it,
Right.
A run-of-the-mill time slip, if you will. I kind of get it, 2 points in time, time, if time is a string and 2 points come together and touch, there's a wormhole between the two. That I can conceptualize. But if you start adding in extra dimensions, I can't. Right. I don't even know how to say it. I just can't. I can't figure that out. I don't know how that would work. But something like that certainly is happening in certain places, like Skinwalker Ranch. They've got portals to places that certainly are not Earth at any time. There's certainly some other place. So where is that? Is that a different planet or is that a different dimension?
Right.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously there are lots of things happening out there that point to other dimensions. And I don't know where to start.
Right.
So Amy just put up the person I was talking about in New York was Danny Philitis, New York firefighter that disappeared. It was in all the news and all the. So that was his name. I couldn't think of what his name was.
I got to write that one down because I got to look into that one.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
Okay.
I know they claim that there's underground train system that you can get to one point to the country to the other within a very short time.
Right.
If that could have happened,
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're in California.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know. I've heard of that. I've heard rumors of that, put it that way. And I don't know how quickly that trip is.
It's quick.
That trip. Yeah. Like less than 6 hours, I would assume.
Yeah.
It'd be like a high-speed rail underground.
Yeah.
But
And they've
would
got
that
it.
be, would that be a place where somebody could grab you and with your buddies out on a ski slope? Or would it more likely you walked into a
Right,
portal
right, yeah,
and you just instantly vanished and end up in
yeah. His
San Francisco, or I can't remember what town it was in, what city in California?
that seems more like a portal. Oh, that's wild.
I'd say a
Yeah,
portal.
Wow.
yeah. In this case, that's a very, very good point. It almost has to be a portal.
Hmm.
Yeah, because if they're out on the mountain skiing,
Right.
how do they get to the entrance to the train
Mm-hmm.
without anybody seeing? So yeah, that one almost has to be.
Wow.
I don't know. It just the whole thing just blows my mind. 100% blows my mind.
There's maps online, showing, the distance and everything and the route you would have to take to get from that ski slope to where he was found. And there's newspaper articles, there's news station reports. I mean, it was just nationwide.
Wow.
I absolutely have to look that one up. There's a prime example. Something I hadn't heard before, something new dropped into my lap. Now I got to look it up and do an episode.
Mm-hmm.
It never runs out. Never, ever, ever.
Never.
Well, they say you go down a rabbit hole, you just end up finding more rabbit holes and you have more
Yes.
questions.
Yes. Yes. That always, when I try to schedule a specific amount of time to research something, whatever the topic is that I've decided to do, I always end up going longer than what I had scheduled because there's so many different things, different places to go, different rabbit holes that I end up going down because this is all so interesting to me that I can't help but go down this other rabbit hole while I'm at it because it's right there and it's so interesting, so I always end up going over on my research time because I can't stop,
That's what we are. I'll sit there and I'll hear of a story or I'll see a reel or something, something that just jogs me. So I need to look into this. That's kind of like what happened to you. But then the more you look into it, it's like the more finer details you find. So by the time you're done, it's like you could have wrote a chapter in a book really easy by all the stuff you find. The more you look in, the more stuff you find.
It's amazing.
And everybody tells them different. And sometimes they add this little new information that the other article or the other person you just was studying didn't have in theirs.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. When I find a story that I want to do, I try to find as many sources as I can. Cause like you said, they don't all give you the same details, So it's like, okay, let's find as many sources as we can to get all of those details all in one spot, which is not easy to do.
Well, it makes you wonder back in the 14, 15, 16, 1700s, were people experiencing the same thing? Or is this getting something more and more common for our era? It just kind of makes you wonder if they were experiencing time slips way back then.
I don't know how often it occurs. I'm assuming it might occur more now, just like the great-great-grandmother was sitting in a rocker knitting and the two young farm boys come in. I mean, so obviously it happened in different generations.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But did your Roman soldier story, did the Roman soldiers obviously experienced them.
Right.
Mm.
So it's like, that's centuries.
But is it that it's actually becoming more frequent, or is it actually that we're talking about it more?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
CERN and some of these other, colliders or whatever, are they opening up more portals possibly?
Well, now that's a good question.
And
That
then
absolutely is a good question.
Places, I think it was in Tennessee somewhere, that the military did open up one, but they couldn't close it. It's like, oops, we opened something up. Now what?
Oops. Yeah.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Now, we've heard that story from somebody, and there's no way of proving it or anything, but we heard that there is a portal open, and Bigfoot main purpose in that area is to guard that portal to see what comes out. to try to protect us or make sure that the wrong stuff doesn't come in because the portal isn't closed.
That's interesting. And this is in Tennessee?
No, it is out east, but I don't know exactly where it is. The person wasn't very specific, and I don't know how they got the information. So, like I said, I can't put any validity behind it because I haven't dug into it or heard anybody else. Just this one person talk about like a government portal, like Jane was talking about, got left open and they can't close it.
Right.
And somehow these Sasquatch or whatever that are supposed to be stewards of the land or steward, for the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're there in that area anyway to protect that portal to make sure nothing bad comes through that's supposed to like wipe us out or hurt us or the planet.
Right.
So
I was just thinking that same thing, that they have been known for a long time as being protectors, guardians of the forest. So now we have CERN and places like that can open a portal, but have these portals been opening on a random basis through all of time? And that's why Bigfoot has been known as the protector of the forest for so long. Maybe that's always been his job. I don't know. But it's an interesting thought. I like that.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, like, it makes sense. I think that's a good explanation, but you can't prove it. You don't know it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the portal's even there.
Yeah.
I would think, just like we're talking about the New York firefighter or whatever, I think portals are there. So why wouldn't one be stuck open?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and how many is stuck open?
There's so many different portals. I mean, you have the ones that come on a timely basis, whether it's the same time of year or whatever, they're seasonal. Then you have the ones that move around. You don't ever know where they're at. They just kind of move. And then there's ones that just like, are they manifested and they just pop up, and then they go away.
Yeah.
So there's at least 3 that I know of, 3 different types of portals, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was pretty skeptical about a lot of things when I started this channel. I was pretty sure about Bigfoot. I mean, I still have a little bit of skepticism about Bigfoot, but especially in the last 3 years, there's just so much information, so many stories. It's like, okay, at some point you got to go, okay, there's something here. There's something going on, just the sheer volume. And I kind of am thinking I'm getting to that same place with portals. At first it was like a portal. Oh, I don't know about that. But the more that I hear, the more stories that I hear, personal experiences, it's getting to that same point where it's just like, there's just so much information. How do you not say there's something here? There has to be,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you have so many people that truly believe in this and say, I saw something, or some of them don't even know what it is. It's like, I saw something, I've hunted these woods, I've hiked these woods, and that's something I've never, ever saw before. And you keep getting all these stories and reports and experiences. It's like, I mean, Octum's razor says the most general or the easiest answer is usually the true one. So
yep,
they saw something, they experienced something.
Yep. And I get it that a lot of people say, I can't tell you what it was, but I saw something. There's something is out there.
And then you have like, the animals going quiet or the sounds of the forest, just all of a sudden nothing.
Right.
Or you have like the Versailles Gardens where those people felt, okay, something's off. I have that feeling something's off. Things don't quite look right. And we have stories of hikers that'll go down a trail that they've went down many times, and all of a sudden they were on a bright, sunny day, and all of a sudden they get past this one part, and all of a sudden, okay, why is it so dark? Why are the flowers and the trees not as pretty and vibrant like they were 2 minutes ago?
Yeah.
So the whole atmosphere, it's almost like you're in a different place. You're in the same place, but a different place.
Right. Yep. I hear you.
I have
It's
never
crazy.
experienced that. I mean, I believe it that it happens. I mean, the people they're very adamant and they believe what they're telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just took a trip back in October. We took a trip to Kentucky. We were meeting up with some other channels to do a video on goblin hunting, actually. And on the way there, we spent our first day in the Land Between the Lakes to do some shooting for a Land Between the Lakes video. And I had heard so many people talk about how once they cross that bridge and get into that LBL area, how the atmosphere changed, and they were out either shooting videos and recording content of whatever kind, content creators doing what we do, or people out hunting or fishing or whatever, and stories of everything going quiet. I was so waiting for that to happen. I was just waiting, and it never did. And I was like almost a little bit disappointed when we left that we had a completely beautiful day there.
Wow.
Because I know there's so many people who talk about this that,
yes,
again, it's like I don't know what it is, but it's something, that I believe there is something there. There's so many people who tell these stories about that area that there has to be something to it. And I didn't get to experience any of it.
It's just like going on a paranormal investigation. You might not see anything. You might spend the whole weekend there at a haunted house or a highly paranormal where everybody's experienced and all kinds of stuff, and you may not ever experience that because you were either there at the wrong time, wrong frequency, whatever. Or you could be there in a party of 5 people. 3 people experiences the chills and the hair standing up or something touching them, and everybody else doesn't experience anything.
Yep. Absolutely. I think I'm one of those people who's at the wrong frequency who doesn't experience anything, because I have never experienced anything out of the ordinary in my life. Not a Bigfoot or cryptid sighting, not a ghost sighting, not a UFO sighting, nothing.
So speaking of Kentucky and the LBL, when I was working in a factory, a bunch of guys had boats and stuff. We always played golf or go out fishing together when I was younger. And so one of our coworkers, his dad, had a little tiny house out there right off of Kentucky Lake. So we thought, hey, let's take a weekend. Let's everybody go up there. So we had like a little fishing competition, going on between friends and buddies, So me and my friend that were going to be in the boat together, we got up super, super early while everybody else was still sleeping, and we launched our boat. And we launched it and started following the shoreline, to get our bearings before we got way out into the lake. And all of a sudden we hit this great big fog. I mean, it was bad and thick. So we could not see the shoreline anymore. We could not see out in the lake. We couldn't see where we came from. So we skirted that lake on that thing until the sun came out to burn off all the fog or whatever. Right. And we literally had to have spent three or 4 hours because we got up so early. But then by the time the sun got up and burned off, we talked to our friends and they said we hadn't been gone that long.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, it was weird. And I never even heard of the LBL before that. And then after looking at the Kentucky Lakes, like, we weren't that far away from
where
all that stuff happens.
You were there, man. You were there.
A creepy fog.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. We didn't think nothing necessarily creepy at the time. We just thought we're lost. We don't know where the shore is until we kept inching our way over to try to find it. And it's like, then you go the other way and it's like, man, we're not finding anything.
I mean, I don't know about, LBL is in Western Kentucky. I don't know about Western Kentucky, but I do know that Eastern Kentucky is actually kind of famous for their thick morning fog, you know. But even if it was just regular Kentucky fog, the missing time, the stretch of the time is very odd. That's very weird.
Yeah.
The closer you get to the Appalachian Mountains, the creepier it gets. The strange woo. So the eastern side of the state, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting trip. We spent 2 days over in Pikeville County, doing I don't know if you guys have ever seen the series Hellier.
No, I have not.
Okay. There is. Okay, let me back up for a second. Have you heard of the goblins from Western Kentucky?
I've heard of the goblins.
Okay, so the goblins in Western Kentucky in Hopkinsville, 1950 something like that. Well, on the western side, it was somewhere 2000, 2010, something like that. There was a gentleman who had a house there who had what he called goblins messing with him and his dog and his kids and his house like every night. You know, they would come out and steal the kids' toys and mess with the dog and all this kind of stuff. And then he just like went silent. Like he just bugged off the radar and nobody has seen him since. And it's been a number of years now. And Hellier was these two paranormal investigators who are married, their attempt to track him down or track down the goblins or whatever they are, because there's actually pictures. There's three-toed tracks in the mud. Oh. And there's one picture of one of these entities. And if you look at the picture and you ask me, it looks far more like a little gray alien than a goblin. But, you know, call it whatever you want to. Something weird was messing with him. So this was such a great series, and so many other things just weird that were happening to him in that area that myself and 3 other channels, we all decided to get together in that area and just go for a couple of days and do some hunting. I don't even want to say paranormal hunting, because we were open to finding cryptids or goblins or ghosts or whatever we could find, just to spend some time there and see what happened. So it was an interesting couple of days. Because like I said, I've never had anything happen to me. So this is the first time that I was like breaking my nice little quiet shell of an office, my little safe space, you know, to travel that far away to go and hunt for something out of the ordinary. So it was a big leap for me personally, but it was good. And I can't say that I really experienced anything. I mean, I will say that we had 2 night hunts, if you will. And the first one was at a graveyard, and in Pikeville, Kentucky, the big story is a woman by the name of Octavia Hatcher, who supposedly fell ill to the point where they thought she was dead, but she wasn't. They exhumed her, you know, a couple months later when more people started falling ill to, I think they now, whatever the illness is that comes from the tsetse fly, I can't remember what it is, but they think that's what it was.
Malaria?
Is it malaria?
Or is that from mosquitoes? I don't know.
It's from mosquitoes. That's right. Malaria is from mosquitoes. This was from the tsetse fly. Anyway, so more people started getting sick, but, you know, to the point of death, but then were recovering. And so her husband, Octavia's husband, who they were like madly in love, you know, I mean, it was like the perfect couple back then. He had lots of money. She gave him a son right away. Everybody was happy, although then the son died. And that's actually kind of what precipitated her downfall, is that once their child died, she kind of, in like January of whatever year it was, she kind of went to bed in a fit of depression that she never lifted out of. She was in bed basically until like April. Then she got this sickness on top of it, so that by the beginning of May, I think it was, is when the doctor declared that she had slipped into a coma and died.
Wow.
But then they start seeing all these other people having the same symptoms and recovering. So her husband is like frantic, exhumes her body. And, you know, the legend is that, you know, there's claw marks on the top and all that kind of good stuff. So we were at her grave site, which is on a hill that overlooks downtown Pikeville. And, you know, being the story we had, and I don't, do you know Matt Emsch? He's a dogman experiencer.
I think I've heard the name, but I don't know any of the stories.
Okay, he's probably the biggest of the channels that we were there with. So we were there with Matt Emsch. We were there with a guy named Dave from Encountering the Strange. He does documentaries on Bigfoot and Dogman and stuff like that. And we were there with a woman by the name of BJ LaPierre, who is an author and a sensitive. So she was like our sensitive to help us figure out where things were happening and could hopefully guide us in places where we could experience something. So we were all at the cemetery, and me being the storyteller that I am in front of her grave telling the story, her story. And after I was done, BJ told me I could feel a female. She said, I can't tell you for sure that it was Octavia, but I can feel a female that was standing right next to you as you told that story. I'm like, okay, I didn't feel anything, but okay, thank you for the heads up. And I happened to have been standing on a particular corner of the gravestone as I was telling the story. And that was actually right before the sun went down. So then we got all of the footage that we all wanted. And then we went and got something for dinner. And we came back at like 10 o'clock at night when it was dark to do, you know, just kind of stay there and see if we could experience anything. And BJ had, and now I don't know anything about paranormal hunting, you know, ghost hunting. I have no idea. So she had these cat balls that, you know, you turn them on. Yeah, you guys having cats, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? So they sit there and they only light up if they move or if something happens to them. So she put 4 of these cat balls, one on each corner of this huge, because it's a huge gravestone there. It's a big statue of her and everything. And so she put one on each of the 4 corners. And we were just there, just kind of hanging out, asking her to speak with us, asking anybody else if they wanted to speak with us, that kind of thing. And I'll be darned if the cat ball on the same corner that I had been standing is the one cat ball that actually lit up.
Wow.
Nobody by it, no wind that night, no reason for that cat ball to turn on. But that was the one, is right where I was standing.
Wow.
So I was like,
wow.
Interesting. Like I said, I didn't feel anything. I can't say I experienced anything except what I saw empirically with that cat ball, which I thought was kind of cool.
That's funny because we bought those light up cat balls, but we didn't get them for our cats.
Right.
They did get to play with a couple of them, but mainly we got them because we wanted to see if they worked.
Yeah. I had one kind of go off a couple times in the backyard. So yeah, there a lot of investigators are using these cat balls. They're dirt cheap on Amazon. You can buy them by a dozen.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of
That's
investigators love these cat balls. Yeah, something has to touch it or to move it for them to start lighting up.
To interfere with it somehow. Yeah.
But we've never given any to our cats, so I don't know if they would enjoy them or not.
I think we let them play with it when we first got them. We let them play with one, but the rest of them we kept for our little adventure or to play with ourselves.
That's funny that the poor cats don't even get to play with the cat.
Yeah, we bought cat balls and they don't get them.
Yeah, these are for the ghosts. Leave them alone.
I love it. That's awesome.
Have you ever heard any stories about people when they go to sleep, say married couples or boyfriend, girlfriend, and they wake up the next morning and one of them acts different? Or they've changed their personality? So I heard
No.
it was like a glitch in a matrix kind of story
Sure.
where a young couple went to bed like they normally did. Everything was fine, and they got up the next day, and the woman noticed that the boyfriend, I'm gonna say it could have been husband, I'm gonna say boyfriend,
Right.
was acting different. Didn't eat what he normally ate for breakfast, and he was just kind of off. He just wasn't the same loving, bright-eyed person that she knew, and it kept going on all day, all day. It's like she was noticing little things like strange, and she'd ask him, you feeling okay? Is anything wrong? And he was just kind of short and grumpy, and normally he's loving and caring and very, very upbeat. And then she's just kind of worried about this, and she just spaces off. All right, maybe he's having an off day or whatever. And they go to bed, get up the next day, and guess what? The person that she remembers, how he acted, his behaviors, his mannerisms were all there. Just that one day, they woke up and he just was not acting in a normal self for some reason. He didn't know. He had no clue that he was being different.
Right. I wonder if that's that's almost like the parallel universes coming together for a day, like a day long time,
like a multiverse.
Yeah, where you just kind of traded places for a day. That's kind of weird.
It's the same person, but just not quite right.
Right.
Lori wants to know if you're telling a true story about us.
What?
Lori Ladd. There.
True story about us.
That.
Jane, is he telling?
Are you just sharing a story of what happened to you and me? You waking up and you're a totally different person.
Oh, that story about us.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to ask Jane because the male's the one that acted different. So I probably act different every day. I don't know.
That's
nope,
funny.
that wasn't about us.
They're being sly about it.
Yeah, they're reading into it. Our secret's out.
Uh-oh.
No, I have not heard of that phenomena. The closest that I think that I have heard of is a doppelganger kind of thing, where you see your husband come in the front door, they don't look at you, they don't say anything to you, they just walk into the kitchen. Well, that's odd. Obviously, your husband would usually at least say hi, and then 5 minutes later, he walks in the front door again, but that is your husband. So it's probably the closest that I've heard to that, but that's an interesting one.
Daryl brought up another one that I've heard before where the girl went to bed with her boyfriend and woke up the next day with her ex-boyfriend. So they
that's
got
a little
completely
surprising.
replaced, like she was back in time with her ex-boyfriend.
That's interesting.
I've heard that.
I want to know how that played out.
Yeah. Did they get back together or did she kick him out of the house?
Yeah.
Which one did you like better? Do you wish you were still with your ex-boyfriend, or do you want to be with your current boyfriend? And do you have the ability to go back and forth?
Yeah.
Now
that might be nice.
Back?
Wow. I want to know that story now because I want to know how that played out. I really do. That is an interesting one.
Wow.
You mentioned something interesting earlier about I think we're talking about Twilight Zone, or where people, or Jane brought it up, where you go into a town that appears, and if you go there, can you get back out, or are you stuck there?
Right.
Because I always tell the story or the experience where I worked nights, and there's an old town that no longer exists called Held, Illinois. And I drive by it on my way to work. And I always thinking of all this stuff. I'm thinking, okay, I'm coming home. It's right after midnight. What am I going to do if I look over and I see this old pioneer town there? Do I go in it? Do I just observe it? Do I pay no attention and keep going? And can you get out if you do go in it? I keep hoping.
That's a good question. Do
I'm
you turn
retired
around
now,
and go back,
or do you drive by it as much?
But that's a good question. Do you turn around and go back, or do you just keep on driving, hope that you get through to the other side? It's a very good question.
or do you just or you just park your car and wander into town and
Ooh,
experience it? Or
I don't know that I would do that.
I don't know.
I'm too chicken to do that.
I think I would
turn right back around again. I think
I would at least get closer to look at it.
You think so?
I think so.
I'm a chicken. I will be the first one to admit that. Maybe someday my bubble will be a little bit bigger, outside of my little safe office here. And maybe I'll be braver someday. I don't know.
But
not today.
in the 30 some years that I drove by that, never did it ever appear. And I thought, it's one of these nights, full moon, midnight, something it's gonna be there. But nope.
Nope, not that lucky.
Not that lucky.
Do you have a camera in your car just in case?
Cell phone.
Okay,
but
good.
Then how do you know it's going to work?
Well, that's a good point.
If you go back in a different era, will your cell phone or recording device work? And even if you did get a video, when you come back out, would it still be on your phone?
Good point. Maybe that's a reason that we should all go get ourselves an old film camera and keep it in the car.
Oh yeah.
Although the film
that might not be there either. Who knows?
Yeah. There's so much AI out there, and you don't know what's real anymore.
Yes.
You can't really prove anything because AI is so darn good.
Yes, it is. Yes. I mean, we will put up AI images in our videos to kind of help the mood of the story, So I have, and Mr. InBetween is an awesome AI artist. He comes up with some of the best pictures, illustrations, images, if you will. And some of them are so real. It's like, holy cow, it's like, okay, this is a brand new world.
Have him make ours then.
It's crazy. Although we now have an editor that helps us with our videos, and she is really good at AI now as well. So Mr. InBetween doesn't do it as much as he used to. Now our editor.
So he's available. He's free.
Yeah, there you go. Now, yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
He's rolling his eyes now. It's like,
oh my gosh, what did you get me into?
Yep.
No, I just stick
with
thumbnails. I like making my images for the show, but we don't really do AI images as much as far as storytelling, but we do take them off the internet if we find them.
Sure.
Just like you said, it adds something to the story, gives something visual for people to see. And
yeah, because if you're telling a story that is a half an hour long, that's really hard for an audience to just, and obviously there's a lot of people who, will put the video on, put their phone on the counter while they're cleaning the kitchen and not look at it again for a half an hour. I mean, there's obviously that contingent, but there's also the people who are watching it and want to be entertained like a TV show. But a half an hour of looking at my face doing nothing but tell the story, that's really hard for people. So you have to put in something to break that up every minute or two at the outside, or more like 30 seconds to a minute actually is what they say is the optimum time frame to do that. But and it depends on the audience, obviously, but so yeah, you have to come up with some images, and some images you can find to help tell the story. So or ones that you can create, they just help people build it in their minds. And we don't want to tell the story for them visually. We always try to rely on the story itself and rely on me to tell the story for the viewer or the listener. But every now and then, having that image that we can create to show the audience what we're talking about. Because sometimes, it's hard to describe sometimes what you're trying to describe. So to have a visual to go with that is sometimes pretty helpful.
Right.
We just try not to rely on it,
Right.
Yeah, because how can you tell the story about Robot Grandma from Mount Shasta and not actually show a picture of Robot Grandma?
Robot Grandma. That's right. Absolutely. I have seen some pretty fun pictures of robot grandma over the last couple of years.
I just think it's funny that we watch a lot of podcasts and they use, the AI for images. Most of the time, Dog Man and Bigfoot, they're all buffed out and all muscular, like they came out of the gym.
They are. They are. Yeah. Especially Dog Man. But I think that's partly because a lot of the descriptions of Dog Man are that he was buff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually is part of the description. So I don't know if there's some sort of zeitgeist happening within the AI brain that says, okay, this creator over here gave me this Dog Man description that said he was buff.
Right.
And now this creator over here wants a picture of Dog Man, so I'm going to serve up this picture of Dog Man being buff. I don't know. Is it like one giant AI brain happening around us? I have no idea. But that is true. They always come out buff.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, because I think the one image I made, Dog Man looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Lou Ferrigno, if you go back to that time frame of bodybuilders, I mean, he was cut and ripped, and
he sure was. He was the man. Yeah, Lou Ferrigno was even more ripped than Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
Yes.
He? Yeah. The Hulk.
Wow.
I watched that show every week. All the time when I was a kid. Absolutely.
There's a new show, Sexy Cryptids.
Oh. That'd probably have to be on HBO, depending on which way you take that.
Yeah. I don't think I want to go there. I don't think so. I'm not watching that one.
Reality show of cryptids. I don't know.
No. Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Probably be a good seller, though.
Probably. Sadly enough, it probably would. Yes.
Wow.
Trying to think of any other stories for time slips or. I know I do know of one, and it was more of a glitch, I think, than anything.
Okay.
Two guys that live in the same cul-de-sac or suburb of a small little community work together. So they usually take the same route. They don't carpool necessarily, but they take the same route. And the one gentleman, the one friend, sees his buddy's car up ahead. So he speeds up, he's going to mess around with him and wave at him, honk at him, whatever, He gets up next to the other guy's vehicle and looks over. And he sees his friend, but this doesn't quite look right. He's just not quite exact, but he could tell it's the same vehicle, same everything. It was his facial was him. And he looks over, and the other guy looks over, and the friend waves at him, like goofing around, honking his horn, whatever. And the other guy just like turns back to the road and is on his phone and just keeps on going, just like he didn't acknowledge him. So the guy's are you kidding me? I can't believe my buddy's doing this to me or whatever. So he calls him on the cell phone. And the guy answers, his friend answers. He goes, "Hey, how come you just ignored me and sped off?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, I just pulled up right beside you and waved at you, and you just ignored me." Because I just got on the interstate from our subdivision. I just now got on, and he goes, "Where are you at?" He told him what exit or how many miles ahead was. He goes, "Dude, I'm telling you, you're right here in front of me." He goes, "No, I can't be. I just came out of the cul-de-sac for where we lived." So they hung up, both of them in kind of disbelief. So the guy that just came out of the cul-de-sac, supposedly that the other friend saw, he sped up. He caught up with this vehicle, and he said the next day or whatever, the friend that spotted him originally said this guy just would not talk about that incident. So whatever he saw, or he saw himself, or I don't know. It's a weird thing. So it's like almost like two people in the same timeline.
Wow. Wow. I haven't heard that story.
Yeah. So he's like, "I'm staring right at you, and you just sped off and left, And he goes, "I just got on the interstate. I couldn't be up there."
Wow. I mean, there are a lot of time slip stories out there.
Mhm.
I mean, there's just, it's kind of, it's almost a little overwhelming. It's like ghost stories. There are so many ghost stories out there that it's overwhelming to me.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
it is. You know, time slip stories are kind of, for me, getting up into that same overwhelm category because there's just so many, you know. I'm trying to think. I know that I've gotten a few of them from emails into the channel. So people's personal experience. You know, there's one guy who saw a couple of nuns on the street one day that were obviously dressed like not today. And he even says, he's like, I don't know that these are genuine time slip experiences, but this is what I saw and it just didn't look right, you know. Or there's, you know, obviously there's a number of them on Bold Street where there's one where the woman stops on the bench in front of, I think she was in front of, is it Waterstone's bookstore. That seems to be a hot spot, is that Waterstone's bookstore location. And then she was on, you know, just eating her lunch on the bench in front. And all of a sudden the nice sunny day goes to a gray day. And somebody came and sat next to her on the bench and was talking with her. And she said he was dressed strangely, but they are having a perfectly fine conversation, you know, and then he gets up and leaves and the sun comes all back out again.
Wow.
You know, but she was like, there was just something about him that wasn't right, you know? So is that a time slip or is that something else, you know? Kind of an interdimensional kind of thing. I guess you could spin that one in that direction as well. Of course, all of these stories are now like totally escaping my head at the moment. Because I think this is the third time slip story video that we've done. Because people just, I don't know what it is about time slip stories, but people just love time slip stories. They just do. They just eat them up. So it's like, okay, so as long as I can keep finding good ones, I'll keep sharing them, you know. And I'm betting that, you know, give me another 6 months or so, and we will have enough good personal experiences from email that I will probably be able to make a whole episode just on in-betweener time slip stories, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you could probably do all your other subjects in this and still have enough to do time slips in between all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I guarantee this will not be our last time slip episode.
No.
Mm.
You know, because they're just so popular. People just love them so much.
Well, if anyone has a memory of, you know, like childhood, teenage, or whatever, if you have a memory of going to a place, have the memory of leaving the place, but not being at the place and experiencing where you were going. Is that a time slip?
Say that again. I didn't follow.
Yeah.
For example, I do have, all right, I was at my cousin's in another state. I was young. I don't know how old I was. I was a little child. We went to like this carnival place or whatever. I remember going there, walking up to the gate, but then I remember walking down, heading to the gate, leaving, but I don't remember any rides, games, what we did, nothing. The whole time being there is not in my memory. Just going there, being in the parking lot, and then walking this path, leaving.
Oh,
So, is that a time slip?
sounds like an abduction.
Well,
They put a false memory in your head.
it was a big place. It was like Kings Island or something like that in Ohio. It's a big place. Why do I not remember being on the rides or with my uncle and cousins and experiencing going there? I just remember going there and leaving, not being there.
Not doing anything.
So I didn't know if that was a time slip or not.
I don't know that I would put that in the time slip category.
Missing
Only
time.
because the time slips. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest characteristic of a time slip. Now, obviously, you know, we're kind of making this up as we go along because we have no idea what's going on. But I think the biggest characteristic of a time slip is, you know, seeing people in a different time period. That's not right. Yeah, I would say that what you experience is more like missing time. You know,
being in a big place like that, I should remember.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think.
You know,
unless something traumatic happened, then you blocked it out.
I don't know.
that would be the only thing I could think of, but I wouldn't call it an abduction, because if she's, if Jane, if you're in this big park with your family, well, your family would know
Right.
if you disappeared,
Right.
unless
I
you
just
did.
remember being in the parking
No,
lot, getting out of the car, walking up to the main gate. And the other thing I remember is we're together walking down this little path, going to the exit. And that's all I remember.
Did you ever ask your mom and dad about it?
No.
Or anybody else in your family?
They weren't with me. And my uncles passed. And so, no, there's no one I can really talk to about.
Ask about it. Wow.
Right.
That's interesting. I don't know.
I don't know either. That's weird.
Yeah, because how can you, for whatever reason that the time went missing,
right?
Whether it was a trauma block in your head because something happened there, or if it was an alien abduction and you're missing time. I mean, whatever the reason for the missing time,
right?
Somebody would have had to have known.
Right.
Right.
That's interesting.
But not remember riding rides or anything. It's not there. So I've always kind of wondered that.
So Rose Thistle over on Rumble wants to know, Jane, did you remember eating any food or smells of food or anything
I remember
on that
nothing.
in-between time?
I remember nothing on the inside, just walking up to the gate like we got there and then us leaving. That's the only thing that I remember. And I should remember eating, cotton candy or the games or certain big rides. I don't remember none of it.
Right.
That's what's weird about it.
That is weird.
I have no explanation for that at all.
I know. I don't either.
Wow.
But it's wild as a younger child that certain things that you do remember. Why do we remember certain little things? I remember, driving there and going to the parking lot and then leaving. That's always been a good memory of mine. But then just recently getting into all this strangeness, it dawned on me like, whoa, why do I not remember going there?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've got snippets of memories here and there, but to remember going in and remember coming out and not remembering the middle, that is very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really remember my early childhood very much at all.
Yeah.
I have pictures that my family have taken of me. Like my family lived in a house, the first house that my dad built, and then he built the final house that I grew up in. Well, I spent like 10 years in this first house, and I have hardly no memories of that house, but yet I have photo albums. I have pictures of me in that house. I don't have any memories of being in that house.
Huh. When you see the pictures, do they look familiar or they look foreign?
I see the pictures just because I recognize that is me.
Right.
But the experience, like there's one of Christmas time where I'm looking up at a macrame star ornament hanging on the tree, and it's kind of a cute Christmas thing. I don't remember that at all.
Huh. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, that's just probably
I could tell you
selective
nothing
as a
about
kid.
the inside of that house whatsoever.
Huh. How old were you when you moved out?
Oh, I would have been about probably 8 or 9.
So old enough that you would think that you
You'd
would
think
remember
I would have had something, but I don't.
Huh.
Hmm.
Interesting. I don't know.
I don't know.
Again, are there maybe bad memories of some kind? I mean, if your dad built the house, the chances of it being a haunted house that you would block out all the terrible haunting issues, it's probably not the case,
Yeah. I mean, I was the youngest of 4, so maybe I was left out of everything, or I was too young to experience everything. I just existed. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Wow.
Memory is a weird thing. That's all I can say.
It is. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, see, Daryl had the same experience as a wow, Jane. I had something like that when I was young. I went to a football game. Don't remember nothing about it. And Monday after the game, we were over the film, and it was like first time for me. Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
Wow.
Don't remember playing a football game. That's amazing.
That is.
That's not passive. That's very, very active.
So this is similar but different. Instead of, time slips, this is missing time. That's a totally different show.
I mean, you're on the wrong show, Daryl.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of related, but yeah.
Right. They're kind of related, but yeah, the missing time is something different. It's not like I walked into a portal, a portal and not forget, or I don't know. This world's getting so weird.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Because how do you know that you didn't walk into a portal? I mean, here's the thing. How do you know that you didn't walk into a portal?
Right.
Maybe your uncle lost you
Oh.
and they didn't want to talk about it because he would feel pretty guilty that he lost you, know? And now he's passed away. You can't ask him. But
yeah. And maybe it's traumatic enough where you were scared and lost and you don't have any memory of the in-between time.
Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
That's wild. And yeah, someone asked Daryl, did you get hit in the head by a football?
That's a good question. A little concussion action happening there. Yeah.
I take it he wasn't the MVP of the game, obviously. Or he would remember that, I would think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he said, I watched the film and nothing happened. I played the whole game.
Wow.
That's amazing. How do you not? Yeah, it's like, what do you mean you don't remember that? How do you not remember that? That's amazing.
Well, same with me. If I went to this big place, kind of like Six Flags or whatever, you'd think that I would remember.
Absolutely. You should.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe you're a clone and you don't have that memory.
I don't know.
Now I'm going to have to think about this.
Oh my.
That's going to keep you up at night.
Out of body experience. Wow. Wow. This is so interesting.
It is. I mean, we can keep on going, but I think we've came to a good conclusion. How about you, Carol?
It's probably a good place to leave it before we started getting into places that are even more strange.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if anyone
really, we could tell more stories, but it'd be basically about the same kind of stuff. This, people remembering other people or things being different than what they really are. I mean, unless something really comes up, maybe something from Bold Street will come up new that we can talk about.
I'm sure it will. Well, the one I'm waiting for is the last story on today's video, which was a love story of a woman who accidentally goes back. I mean, this isn't Bold Street, but it is Liverpool. She accidentally goes back. She meets this policeman. I mean, I'm cutting this very short, but she meets this policeman. She snaps back. This is 2015. Snaps back to 2015. She's like, what happened? Then a couple of days later, she's out shopping and she goes back again and she sees the same policeman.
Oh.
She's like, my name's Lori. And he says, my name's George. And she snaps back to 2015 again. She's like, she's kind of heartbroken because she feels some kind of connection with this guy. So she's staying with a friend of hers. She's actually an American staying over there with a friend of hers in her friend's apartment. And so her friend comes home one day and sees a note saying, I believe that love is the connection and the way for me to get back to George. I'm going to be gone for a while, but don't worry, I'll be back. Love, Lori. She's gone for like a week. And she comes back and she's dressed like Mary Poppins because, it's like 1800 or something. Oh, no. Like 1883 is the year that she's going back to. And so her friend is like, what? I mean, and she's showing like, here's the money, here's the old fashioned money from 100 years ago as proof, and she brings back other things. And so that's the story. But the interesting part is that it came from an author by the name of Tom Sleeman, who has written like 100 books on different areas of the paranormal, and one of them being time slips. And he says he has interviewed Lori, finds her story to be very credible, that Lori has given him things that to prove, authentic Victorian era things, not
Right.
heirlooms, but, things to prove that her story is right. And he wrote this article in 2020, so really not that long ago, saying that the investigation is still going on and that Lori disappears sometimes for months on end.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That was 5 years ago. It's like, can we have an update, please? Is there more information now to the story? Because I really would like to know.
Wow.
So that's the one I'm waiting for. So if I hear anything on that one, I will let you know.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of the one I heard, but it's not really time slips. It's a lady that dreams, and when she dreams every night, she's in a different city, different job, and she's making all these friends and a life in her dream. It's like she's got a job, she's got friends, she's got activities going on, and then she comes back here and none of it's anything to do with her life that she has now. And then when she goes back to sleep again, it's like a continuation the next day. She goes to work, she does all this stuff, and so it's almost like a completely different life when she's dreaming. Like it's real. So now she's wondering, okay, which one is real and which one's not?
Yeah, which one's dream world? Right.
Wow, that's interesting.
Huh.
That's very interesting. Because most people just don't dream like that.
No. She says it's not like I have, just a weird dream and then, I don't have it for a while and have other dreams. She has the same thing where it's not the same dream, but it's a continuation of the night before, going to work, new experiences, new things, meeting friends, doing activities. And then she wakes up and it's like, what was that? It was, now it's almost like another whole life that she can't wait to go to sleep to continue the story.
Yeah, to find out what happens.
That sounds like Mall World.
It does sound like Mall World.
Yeah. Have you heard of Mall World, Carol Ann?
No. What is that?
There is tons of people dreaming about the exact same place, same mall. They keep going to it there, and they've got maps. And I mean, it's like, what's going on? Like they're all going to the same place.
It's like it's like collective dreaming.
Yeah, right. They tell their friends, "Hey, let's meet in the food court tonight." It's wild. It is really wild right now.
And it's like it's like an abandoned mall that you would think like an 80s mall and it's no longer open or whatever, but it is open. I mean, you don't necessarily see the busyness, but there's people there, there's shops there that you recognize.
Right.
And every once in a while they said they'll see somebody on the street and it's like, I think I saw him in Mall World the other night.
Wow.
And so it's almost like they almost recognize each other that they're in there. Then now online, they have all these groups and people talking about, okay, anybody that has Mall World dreams, let's meet in the food court tonight. Try to consciously go to the food court.
Yeah, if you're on TikTok, check it out on TikTok. It's all over the place. And they've got maps.
You just got to search Mall World and you'll go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's still happening. People are still sharing their experience of what they saw in that mall or the school or the hospital. It's just like they're all at the same place.
And
really weird.
You probably saw her in chat tonight, Jessica the Cryptid Huntress. We went on her show and we talked about Mall World, and that was one of the best shows that we've done with her. And
really
a lot of responses and comments about other people said, I didn't know anybody else experienced this but me. A lot of people think they're the only ones dreaming of going to the mall at night, and all these people are doing it.
Now there's another episode that I got to do.
Yes, look in the Mall World. It'd be a great episode for you.
Okay.
Yes, Mall World Dream. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's all over TikTok. That's where Carol found it, right? On TikTok.
Yep, I found it on TikTok. Yeah.
I will certainly have to look into that one.
Then like not knowing any better, I went down the rabbit hole, and all of a sudden I started finding all these other videos about Mall World. And like, oh my gosh, how big is this thing?
And then people in her comments are saying, I experienced it too. It's wild.
Wow. That's amazing. All right. I got to look that one up.
All right.
As if I don't have enough to do.
Yeah, well, on your off day or your spare time.
My spare time.
Spare time? What is that?
I have no idea. I have no clue.
Maybe
but I'm going to have to carve
maybe in your
some out.
dreams you can start investigating these other things.
There you go. I will
Yeah,
have
you
to
go to
carve
Mall World
some
in your
out.
dream. That's how you investigate it.
Wow.
You can live it.
Oh, that might not be a bad idea.
Or
I might
do
have
you
think
want
about
to?
That. I don't know. Do I want to even start? Probably not.
Most people sound just like that one woman, that has this other life or whatever in her dreams. It sounds like everybody that goes to Mall World, that's all they dream about. Every night they go to Mall World.
That's wild.
Wow.
It's nothing else. It's Mall World.
And they're seeing the same map and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, the school's over here, and hospital's there, and then the mall. I mean, they're seeing the same place.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna wish to dream for that.
No, I wouldn't either.
Especially an abandoned mall that looks like the hallway. I mean, it continues.
Like a liminal space.
Yeah, it's like an abandoned mall that you're by yourself sometimes. It's like, no, thank you.
No.
There's people there. You can kind of hear the people and noises. You can kind of see them kind of faintly, but you never get to them. That's how they describe it.
Well, what about, you said that people are meeting up there?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're saying. They want to meet up.
Yeah, they're trying.
Okay, anybody going to Mall World, let's try to consciously meet in the food court or whatever.
Okay. So they haven't achieved that quite yet.
Not that I know
That's
of.
what they're
But then
working
there's
on.
other people that talk about,
Awesome.
they walk by somebody on the street and they think, I think I saw him in Mall World. Well, how did you see him in Mall World if you don't never see him?
Good question.
I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
It is.
I will have to dig into that. Because I mean, there is, I think, something to the whole collective conscience kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even in like quantum mechanics, I don't know if it's quantum mechanics, but the whole quantum side of physics, that an atom is connected to an atom.
Yeah, experiencing the same thing across the universe.
Yeah, across the universe. And when this happens to this one, the same thing happens to the other one. So I think that there is some kind of collective consciousness happening on some level, but obviously I have no idea what level. So the fact that they're trying to experiment of linking up with each other is fascinating.
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
Because how else can you explain identical twins experiencing pain when one of the other ones get hurt or something happens or
very true.
I know anything is possible, but what if we're actually kind of being abducted while we're sleeping and grabbing our astral travel and taking everyone to the exact same place? And that's why people's dreams are different. Don't know. I mean, you don't know what this government's doing behind our backs now.
Right.
It's just so weird. How can thousands of people go to the same place?
Right. That is interesting. I will
have vivid memories of what they're seeing to the point that they're drawing out maps.
Yeah.
Now that map is on TikTok, right, Carol?
Yes. There's one lady that definitely has a very detailed map because after she started having all these dreams of the same place, she started kind of sketching it out a little bit. And then now she's taking the time to actually trying to remember every detail and making a nice big detailed map. So there's Mall World, the actual mall, then there's like an amusement park, there's a hospital, there's a school that she's been in, and all liminal spaces though.
That's amazing. I definitely have to check that one out.
Yeah, you'll love it. That's an interesting rabbit hole. I never heard of it before until he came downstairs, said, hey, we're going on Jessica's show. We're talking about this. And I went, what?
What?
Oh my, this is interesting. And now we're going to do a part 2 eventually because people are still sharing their dreams.
Wow.
It's continuing.
Huh. All right. I got to brush up on that one. Got to brush up on that one for sure.
Wow.
Well, I don't know how we can top Mall World, so I guess we better call it a night.
And on that note,
your husband's probably looking it up right now, like, oh, what is this?
Probably. He
Probably.
will probably have an answer for me as soon as I walk out that door.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for coming,
guys.
Carol.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me so much. It has been a pleasure and a blast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll just say goodbye to everybody in chat, and then we'll get a chance to talk just a little bit before you go. So thank you, everybody in chat and Rumble and YouTube. We're live on both spaces tonight. So thank you very much all for coming, and please go check the InBetween out on YouTube and TikTok or wherever. I think, do you have a radio podcast also, or just on the social media?
We are on whatever podcast platform you're on. We are there. We are also actually on Rumble. I'm not sure that our Rumble channel gets updated as often as, we put out one video a week on YouTube. I don't know that we get that video to Rumble right away. I'm not sure that channel's built out quite as much as YouTube, but we are on Rumble and X and TikTok and Instagram and all of them. All the spaces. Mm-hmm.
Any of your favorite podcasts or social platforms, look for the InBetween. Chances are you'll find it. And please go and like Carol Ann's channel and podcasts and show her some love for us. And thank you all for coming. We love you.
Much love, everyone.
Keep looking up.
And keep your vibrations high.
Love and peace, everybody. Good night.